Hi everyone, in this video I would like to provide you with an overview of your student teaching experiences, the expectations, as well as preparation you might be able to do over this summer. As you already know, feel free to contact me or Miss Pinkney at any time. You will be provided with an attendance link similar to your situation in 490. Attendance and engagement is obviously extremely important throughout your student teaching. Go to all attended events, go every day and all day that you're expected to. Make sure that you arrange this, of course, with your cooperating teacher. Make sure that you make up any days in which you are absent. Contact me anytime that there is an emergency or an absence. You must provide substitute plans for your cooperating teacher anytime that you are sick or absent. Before the start of the school year, please reach out to your cooperating teacher, introduce yourself, let your CT know your start date, your situation, and start combing through the placement curriculum. From day one, please let me know about your bell schedule and your teaching schedule, what your responsibilities are in terms of gradebook, attendance, and so forth, and your estimated timeline to begin teaching, as well as your school. Of course, I know your school, but your room number so that I can come visit you. And I will want to make reservations with you to start coming to visit. Importantly, and I'll talk about this later, but my availability is a little bit tight, so we'll need to work together on that. Keep your cooperating teacher, myself, and Miss Pinkney, of course, in the loop for any issues that might arise, and let us help you if things like sickness or other types of absences arise. But please make sure to keep up with your lesson plans. Now let's talk about key assignments. This is a pass-fail course, and similar to your arrangement in 490, there will be forms to be completed both by yourself as well as by the cooperating teacher. Your cooperating teacher will have forms related to the Danielson evaluation, midterm and final Danielson evaluation rubrics, technology lesson observation, a skills survey, and a feedback form. These forms will be provided to you as well as to the cooperating teacher at the beginning of the semester. Some will be provided later in the semester. The midterm Danielson evaluation rubric is basically a midterm formative check on your progress aligned to the rubric that we use in Danielson for clinical experiences. And I'm providing you with an overview of Danielson for you to look at along with this email that I'm sending out with this video. It is to be completed by the mentor teacher, and the instructions will be provided along with that email when it comes later in this semester. Please take a look at the Danielson framework that I am providing to you along with this video for a look at how your midterms and your finals are evaluated. These are done primarily by your CT, although I will have some input too, but they're primarily by your cooperating teacher, of course, because your cooperating teacher knows more about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis than I will. There's also going to be a technology lesson observation to be completed by your cooperating teacher. That link is also going to be provided by the university. The university will also provide a link for a skills survey to be completed by the cooperating teacher. And finally, toward the end of the student teaching semester, your mentor teacher will provide general feedback on the overall student teaching. At the end of the semester, your cooperating teacher, and I will too, but it's primarily again your cooperating teacher, will provide a final Danielson evaluation. This will be done based upon the Danielson format. Please see the PowerPoint and video that I'm including along with this one, and that will give you an overview of how you are going to be evaluated there. But I must stress, this is a pass-fail course. This is not an ABCD course. Your cooperating teacher and I are responsible for your final evaluations, pass, fail, based upon the full Danielson framework. Please see the Danielson framework that I am providing to you when it comes to that. There are also going to be forms that you will complete, a skills survey as well as an exit survey. The skills survey is basically a self-assessment that you will make. It is useful for the university. It's not really going to have an impact, of course, on your grade beyond just simply completing it. Pass, fail again. And of course, and this is very important for the university purposes, as we evaluate our programs, you will complete an exit survey at the end of your student teaching. Your weekly lesson plans are, of course, a critical part of your EdTPA as well as your work with your cooperating teacher. I do recommend, and I can't stress this enough, that it would be wise to contact your cooperating teacher, and as soon as your cooperating teacher is willing to give you or able to give you a heads up about lesson plans that would be helpful, it wouldn't be a bad idea to prepare your lesson plans over the summer, or at least rough drafts of your lesson plans over the summer. The EdTPA is hard work, and if you can get ahead, it is wise to get ahead. That said, it is wise but not essential when it comes to lesson plans over the summer. For instance, last school year, my student teachers for English education did not have any lesson plans pre-prepared before their student teaching started. In fact, I had not been hired for West Virginia University until about 1 week before the school year started. So things were a little bit up in the air for them. They all passed EdTPA as well as student teaching overall with flying colors, even though they were doing their lesson plans on the fly. So it can be done. Don't panic or stress out if you are perhaps not able to get feedback from your cooperating teacher in order to do lesson plans ahead of time. There's no point in doing lesson plans without knowing from your cooperating teacher what type of lesson plans and subjects might work and what format might work, because that could potentially waste your time and frustrate you. But once your cooperating teacher gives you the go-ahead and you're working a little bit with your cooperating teacher, it is wise to get ahead, because lesson plans are one way in which you can get ahead when it comes to EdTPA. You have been provided with the EdTPA handbook already, and of course the 485 course taught by Dr. Carver will help you with your EdTPA work. Whenever you see dates in this video, that is based upon traditional due dates, but keep in mind all dates in this video that I'm recording are subject to possible change as you work with the district and as you work with the cooperating teacher. The format is the teacher's choice, so make sure that the cooperating teacher has access to your lesson plans, and of course your lesson plans, as I just discussed, are tied to your evaluations in the midterm and final evaluations, as well as the technology lesson plan and so forth. You are, of course, expected to shadow the schedule of your cooperating teacher, arriving and departing when they do, and you will need to attend all events as well. Work with your cooperating teacher. Your schedule as well as your expectations when it comes to this are really up to your cooperating teacher. I am working with the districts and with your cooperating teacher, and I will adhere to what they wish. I am not in the business of dictating to them. The class is pass-fail, but EdTPA is necessary for you to gain certification. The first submission date is October 24th. Now keep in mind, as I've already said, the submission dates are always subject to possible change from one semester to the next. October 24th was a submission date last year. Dr. Carver might inform you of a different date. EdTPA is supported by Dr. Carver's course 485, and work days will be built into 491. And again, Dr. Carver, when you see, of course, the days here, that is subject to change. All dates were based upon last school year. Here you see the passing scores for the EdTPA that you will need to meet. And I do want to say, I know that you're nervous, but we have a history of students passing the EdTPA with flying colors here at West Virginia University across all programs. Everyone in secondary English passed the EdTPA with flying colors last school year, so I am confident that you will be okay. These are your approximate placement dates. These days were last school year. I do not have the placement dates 100% for sure for this year, but what I will say, check with your cooperating teacher as well as Miss Pinkney for the exact placement dates when you see this. I will come around to conduct observations both in school as well as sometimes with conversations by Zoom with you. Now, it's an important note. I need to say this up front. During fall semesters, I teach Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That means that my available time for observations will be Tuesdays and Thursdays. Most of you are going to be within driving distance of me, such as I will be able to do 2 observations in a day. So 2 observations Tuesdays and 2 observations on Thursdays. That's not always going to be the case. Sometimes I will only be able to do 1 observation on a Tuesday or 1 observation on a Thursday. What that means, because you can do the math by how many are in your cohort, I might only be able to get to you once every 3 to 4 weeks. So the observations won't be as frequently as I would like, but we can work together. I want to keep up with you by email and by Zoom, even when I'm not there in person. But please be patient if I'm not able to get out to you individually every week. I am your university supervisor in addition to being your program coordinator. I'll do up to 6 observations either in person or by Zoom, with Zoom being kind of a conversation and a virtual observation, if you will. There is absolutely zero possibility of me getting in person to everyone 6 times in one semester, given the fact that I teach on campus Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And at most, I can maybe do 2 observations a day on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I'll do my best to get out to you pretty frequently. And you can see by the forums what I'm doing. I am attaching, along with this video, examples of forums that I will use when I am observing you in order to give you feedback. But keep in mind, these forums that I'm using are low risk for you. The EdTPA is what I want you to, if you're stressed out at all, stress out about the EdTPA, because that's your certification. When it comes to me, think of me as being there to support and me being there to help. When you look at the forums that I'm going to be using, think of those forums as things that will support conversation and guidance, but I'm not there to fail you. If you pass the EdTPA, if your cooperating teacher says very good things about you, there are no behavior issues and all that stuff, bingo, you passed the course. I'm not there to cause you unnecessary stress. I will seek to give timely responses. You guys already know I tend to reply beyond just simply working hours. Flexibility, active listening, feedback and growth, as well as potential recommendation letters in the future. It will be helpful to you, for you to plan free periods following your observations so that we can have a conversation. But that's not always possible. I realize everything isn't always ideal. So it's also possible we may have to have Zoom conversations at times following me coming there in person. As you prepare to end your first observation at the middle school, please contact your cooperating teacher for your second placement. Reintroduce yourself, get the basic information about where to park and so forth. And the second observation will begin early October. All of this is based upon last year, but it tends to stay pretty standard each year. From working with you last school year, I am confident about professional behavior. I don't think any of this will be an issue. Be on time or early, 30 minutes before your first school visit. Be prepared. Know where you are going and what you will do when you get there. Obviously, check in at the main office. Present yourself as if you are interviewing for a job on a daily basis, because you are, in fact, interviewing for a job. This could be where you wind up teaching. Wear your ID at all times as appropriate, of course, so you will not be allowed in the school without it. And of course, dress code should be in accordance with school policy and expectations for a teacher. Dress as if you are a professional teacher. Here are some resources for certification as well as for literacy instruction. I will be providing you with further resources as the summer moves along. I do not expect that unprofessional behavior will even be an issue for this class. For instance, not meeting all site requirements from your first day moving forward, wearing clothing or items that contain things like logos or your name, showing up at any site that you have not previously signed up for, failure to attend an interview, failure to attend a class period where you're supposed to be teaching, for example, failure to comply with district requirements in a timely manner. I don't think this will be an issue. If there are disposition issues, I will take steps such as discussing with you about why this is happening. We will write up a dispositions concern. I do have a disposition form I can use if necessary to write that up. And we'll need to have a disposition improvement plan moving forward. But I really don't imagine that's going to be an issue. If you engage in any of the behaviors you see on this slide, these are reasons for possible removing you from your student teaching experience and possible failure from the course, or at worst, even removal from the teacher education program. Obviously, I cannot even begin to imagine that any of this will be an issue with anyone.